morning, Faith Community Church. I am Clint, your children's director. I'm here with Pastor Caleb. We're going to be doing another devotional this morning. Yesterday, we were in Psalm 107. We're going to continue a few verses later in this chapter. Let me read for you Psalm 107, 19 through 21. It says this, "Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble. He saved them from their distress. He sent his word and healed them. He rescued them from the pit. Let them give thanks to the Lord for his faithful love and his wondrous works for all humanity." So I wanted to talk real quick. First question, what are we giving thanks for in this passage?
You know, Psalm 107 verse 21 gives us the reason, and it's a reiteration of what you talked about yesterday. So it says, let us give thanks to the Lord for his faithful love and his wondrous works for all humanity. So we saw that Hesed sandwich yesterday, right?
So this is the guac.
Yeah, this is
the extra
Yeah, this
flavor.
Is like that extra sandwich on the side.
Got it.
Now, if you go through it, he just keeps on giving reasons that God is doing wondrous works for all of humanity. So right here, the reason that he gives is that he rescued those who cried out. So he says in verse 19, they cried out to the Lord in the trouble. He saved them from their distress. So the reason that we're giving thanks here is because he rescued those who cried out.
Okay, so who's them? And give more specifics on rescued those who cried out.
Yeah. So the people who cried out are sort of what we were talking about last time. Remember how you saw in the start of the passage that he broke the spirit of the rebellious.
Right.
So he brings people to this place of brokenness where they cry out. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's something to give God thanks for. We talked about that a little bit last time, but then what it says right here is what he does when they cry out. Now, we saw that he breaks their chains. He calls them from the kingdom of darkness to the kingdom of light. What we see here, it says he healed them. So look right there at verse 20. It says he sent his word and healed them. He rescued them from the pit. So he sent his word and healed them. What does that mean? Well, who's the word?
Right. So they sent Jesus.
Yeah.
And
so
Jesus did a lot of healing.
Psalm 107, it's pointing us forward to this future rescue where the word is going to become flesh and dwell among us. And what does he do? He heals us. Now, I want you to think about what that means. What does it mean that the word heals us? What does Jesus have to do with our healing, or what do we need to be healed from?
Right. So I like what's great here is like Jesus illustrates physically what he's here to do on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Healing of the blind man, healing of the lame man, and all the others too. That and like we were talking about yesterday, like with thirsting and feeding, and he fed the hungry. He like gave the water. So he gives the water of life, and he gives the word to them. It's interesting how he's doing that. So here, when it's talking about he's healing them or healing us, but he's talking about Jesus coming here, and obviously we have a deeper wound than is physical.
Yeah.
And that's obviously our sin, our separation from God. And so just like repairing that relationship, and he's not the one who's broken, it's us. So he's bringing us back to where we need to be. He's paying the price that needs to be paid for us so that can be repaired. You can almost say repair here, that we're broken vessels, and he's here to bring us back together and heal us.
Yeah. And I love that illustration of he's showing physically what has to happen spiritually. So like over and over again, his miracles have to do with our spiritual state. So he's healing blind eyes, right? He's giving back the gift of speech or hearing, right? Over and over again, he's meeting people in their distresses, and he's healing them. So we have blind eyes. What does that mean? It means we can't see spiritual truth.
And that's kind of like how we were we're kind of blind to who we were before, and showing us our rebellion, breaking our rebellious spirits, like we talked about yesterday.
It's interesting because if you think about the life of Jesus, most of his ministry is focused on these miracles and these parables, right? And his miracles are showing the people his power and who he is. But his parables, he says he spoke the parables so that blind eyes wouldn't see. And deaf ears wouldn't hear. So what's supposed to happen with these parables is he's speaking spiritual truth, and the people are supposed to recognize, I have a problem because I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
see it. I can't hear it. I'm not following him.
How scary is that?
Yeah. And so what a blessing for those who've been healed, because what it
Yeah.
means now is we can see our need, and we can see our healer. We
Right.
can hear his word, and what we hear is words of life.
Yeah.
And so his healing of us is this transformation that talks about the washing of regeneration and renewal of the Holy Ghost in Titus. This is, we're not who we once were. And I love that he says this, and he says, rescued us from the pit.
Yeah.
You know, we were hell bound. We were hell bent and we were hell bound. Because of the life we were living, we've been rescued. But this rescue plan isn't just fire insurance. He transforms us.
Right.
So he plucks us like a coal out of the fire, but then he makes us into something new where we can hear him, we can see him, and so we can follow him.
And we didn't even know that we needed to in the first place.
Yeah. So God's faithful love is manifest throughout his wondrous works to humanity. And what does that mean? It means he rescues those who cried out. If you're struggling to understand spiritual truth, if you're struggling today to comprehend the gospel, all who call upon the Lord shall be saved. And if you haven't done that, I encourage you today, cry out to Jesus. Say, Lord, I'm a sinner. I have failed you, and ask for healing. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to hear from heaven, and he's going to answer that prayer. He will always answer the prayer for salvation in the affirmative, and he'll heal your eyes, and he'll heal your ears, and he'll come and he'll take up residence within you.
What a great reason to give thanks, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's like, I wouldn't say that's the extra topping on the sandwich. That's kind of like the crown jewel. That's what you drizzle on the top.
Yeah.
Like this is what it's all about right here. So anyway, we will see you guys next week. You guys have a great week.